it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about summer skincare and dealing with acne. And I just wanted to give you some tips to think about that maybe you haven't considered before about, why your skin tends to really act up during the summer, and there might be some techniques or things you can do differently that might avoid some of those breakouts. So I'm going to start with the face, and I'm going to do a separate video on the body. So yeah, let's get into facial products and some techniques. So some of the acne advice I'm going to give you is for acne that is related to congested skin due to a variety of factors. I'm not talking about all types of causes of acne. I'm not talking about avoiding, hormonal or fungal or other types of acne that are, cystic and are probably related to other issues going on besides sort of the external things I'm talking about. So just think about that when you're watching this video. I'm mostly talking about like pretty mild acne, really, to avoid things to do to avoid pretty mild acne and just more congested, prone skin, and things we tend to do that kind of lead to a lot of dead skin cell buildup and clogging of hair follicles. Sunscreen's important, especially on our faces during the summer. It can, not only protect your skin from getting, skin cancer, but it also protects your skin from darkening spots, sunspots, freckles, whatever you want to call it, hyperpigmentation. If you have acne scars, being out in the sun can make those scars definitely darker and deeper. So it's really important, to avoid lots of all those issues and wrinkles and all of that stuff, to wear a good sunscreen. I would recommend in the summer at least SPF 50 if you're living in a place with lots of sun. I know some of you live in places where in the summer it's actually cold and not a lot of sun. But I would recommend whatever sunscreen you like. I tend to go towards the chemical variety that's a little bit more sheer and not as thick. But I would suggest at least an SPF 50. But my whole point of the SPF is not just to protect your skin, but as far as in terms of acne and sunscreen, it's important to remove sunscreen properly. So if you're cleansing at night with a normal cleanser that doesn't contain oil, some of that sunscreen may still be attached to your skin, and this goes for the face and body, and that can cause, congestion if you're not fully removing what's on your face every day. So I suggest using an oil cleanser to remove your sunscreen. Even if you're not wearing makeup, use an oil cleanser first, then a second cleanse. Or if you find some sort of cleanser that has oil in it that you don't need to use a second cleanse for, great. I just want to make sure that you're using something with oil in it to remove that sunscreen, because it likes to latch onto your face, and you think you have clean skin, but you don't sometimes. And I think that kind of gives sunscreen a bad rap, that it makes people break out, and I think part of it is they're not fully removing it every day. So cleansers that have oil in them that I've shown in many of my videos, this is the Samuel Aftershow treatment cleanser. This is for sensitive skin. This is like an oil gel kind of balm cleanser that I use a lot for makeup and sunscreen removal. It has a lot of aloe vera in it. It's a nice kind of balmy gel texture. Or you could use a traditional kind of liquid oil cleanser. This is from Hada Labo. You can get this at Yes Style. And it is it's a liquidy oil cleanser, but it turns into like a white kind of emulsified liquid when you get it wet. I really like this one. It has a good value. You get a lot of product in here. You can get refills. So I recommend, you know, something like this for removing sunscreen. It doesn't have to be these exact products, just something that has oil in it. Another important thing in the summer is that we're getting sweaty a lot, at least I am. If you're exercising outside or you're just spending a lot of time outside in the yard, gardening, whatever, taking out the trash, we tend to get sweaty more than we realize, and that sweat can unfortunately cause some issues, some bacteria getting into your pores and just clogging of the skin and mixing sweat and oils. It's just a whole lot of mess. And if we don't like remove that sweat pretty quickly and take showers regularly after we exercise, you know, having that sit on the skin for hours can really cause a lot of breakouts. So I suggest showering often during the summer if you are sweating, and don't sit around in your workout clothes and your sports bra where you have, you know, you're dripping sweat. So let's just focus on the face. When you're sweaty on your face, it can actually be dehydrating if you don't have anything on it, and then you spray water on yourself. It actually can kind of mess up your environment on your face with sweat, and then wiping it off and putting water in your face, it kind of can dry you out. So with sweat, you know, sure, use a towel, but you do want to wash your face after you are done sweating. You don't want to wash your face a lot during the day. I wouldn't recommend that, but just realize keeping that sweat on your skin can cause some skin issues. For some people, you know, maybe just a towel works, a clean towel, or blotting, if they don't want to wash their face. But I would suggest, you know, once you're done working out or done being outside, shower as soon as possible, cleanse your face, remove that sunscreen, and you'll be in better shape than if you just kind of hang out in your sweaty skin. I know sometimes we can't avoid it. You can use an acne cleanser or not, whatever your skin prefers. I just wouldn't sit around with sweaty skin. Speaking of makeup removal in summertime and sweating, I want to talk to you about, you know, cleanliness, hygiene. Make sure you're washing your towels regularly, your sheets. If you really want to make sure you're removing all your makeup and sunscreen, a microfiber towel that's facial grade is going to make sure every stitch of everything's going to come off. Just be aware you're not over exfoliating your skin with these, because they can be pretty exfoliating in my opinion physically. Another thing with sort of your face is if you use a lot of hair products in the shower or after, where your, you know, conditioner's kind of running down your face, and then you don't wash your face after that, the conditioner can kind of stick to you. Or if you're using hairsprays or gels or whatever, those tend to kind of get around your forehead, on your face, and clog pores. So you want to be aware of like what you're putting on your hair. And even like it can drip onto your chest, on your back, all of that, like great stuff for your hair isn't so great for your skin. Another thing with, you know, keeping your skin clean, pillowcases. I use a silk pillowcase because, you know, it's supposed to be not as creating as many lines on your face and all of that stuff. I don't have a very expensive silk pillowcase. I got it from Amazon, but I make sure I wash it pretty regularly. And if you don't want to wash it, make sure you flip it over so you don't, because during the night you sweat, you drool, and that kind of stuff builds up on here, creates bacteria. So if you do have acne issues, I would get a lot of pillowcases, change them every night. that can be a big problem for people, but just kind of overall hygiene kind of tips. So that's it for sort of cleansers and sunscreens. I do want to mention toners, things to think about. I think exfoliating is a good practice in the form of toners. I like to use my lotion P50. You just want to be careful in the summer with sun exposure. You want to make sure you use sunscreen while you're using any kind of toner with acids in it. So I think it's summer, and when you are in the sun more, it might be a good time to kind of lower your acid strength, and you might want to do a gentle acid toner. This is Aloe BHA skin toner, and I believe the amount of BHA is really small, 0.5%, and this one's pretty hydrating, so you might just want to go a little gentler on your skin. I kind of hit pause on this as I get used to my retinols. I'm still using retinols during the summer. I just have to make sure I'm really on top of my sunscreen and reapplying and all that. You don't have to quit, but if you're really bad at applying sunscreen, maybe you want to, just because your skin's gonna be more prone to burning, damage, sunspots, all that good stuff. So you want to generally avoid that stuff. So while your acids are good, they can cause some other issues. Another thing you might want to think about is just plain hydrating toners, like this one. This is from Mamonde. This is like a very popular one. It's very floral, but I would try to, use your hydration wisely. I don't find this super hydrating. It's okay. I rather use a couple hydrating serums in the summer rather than doing a million steps. So I would skip out on the toner if all it does is really hydrate. So I would be choosy about how much hydration you put on, because when you start sweating, all that stuff kind of comes off anyway, and I'm not sure the kind of result you're going to get left with if you have tons of layers of hydration. It can be a little bit messy and sticky. So I would, maybe calm down a little bit on the acid toners and think about, do I really need a hydrating toner during the summer? Okay, in terms of serums and treatments, I would continue to use your acne treatments. I've been using the BR Complexe Iribiol. This is specifically for acne prone skin. I continue to use this on my chin because that's where all my acne is right now. And I'm using it in the summer. It's great. What I like about it, it's real thin, liquidy, and I can layer it with other stuff really well. Another serum I'm almost out of is this hydration serum from Indeed. It's a really nice milky serum that's super hydrating, but it's still lightweight, which is what we want in the summer, lightweight hydration. And then as far as like moisturizing creams go, I would stay within the gel family if possible, especially if you're oily prone, you're out in the sun a lot, you're sweating. Just keep it light, but that has some longevity. I really like Belif, their aqua balm line. They also have a aqua cream. This is the aloe version. Basically, you can do any sort of your favorite gel cream that's hydrating is gonna be good for summer. Even if you do sweat, it's not gonna do anything crazy to your skin. Another one from Biologique Recherche is the cream dermopurifiante. This is for acne skin. I would use this at night. I don't use this during the day because it's a little thicker, but it is for acne prone skin. But I would continue using like your acne targeted skincare if you have that. I don't think you should neglect that during the summer for sure. Continue to use your acne gels and your acne creams that are spot treatments. Continue to do that. I really like the acne gel from Replenix. This is only 2.5% benzoyl peroxide. It's really simple. It doesn't irritate me. I have sensitive skin, but I can handle this. And you know, it's not like super fast acne on my chin for some reason, but I think after a few days it does seem to work. You just kind of have to keep using it. You can also try Differin Gel. It's an adapalene gel, 0.1% acne treatment. That it's a very clear formula. This is like another alternative to retinol, actually. People use it for anti-aging. It's pretty gentle. You could also use this for acne treatment. It used to not be available over the counter in the US, but it's pretty lightweight, pretty tolerable in my opinion. So continue using that during the summer. And then masks. I think it's important, like when we get really oily and we're just kind of feeling a bit overwhelmed with everything going on in the summer, the heat, and we want to still do a mask. I recommend, if you're feeling really oily, doing clay masks and sort of clarifying masks. So Masque Vivant is going to be good for summer for those of you that are oily. This is a yeast mask. It's anti-aging but also clarifying. This is the famous kind of brown chocolatey mask. Continue using this during the summer. I know a lot of you may want to use sheet masks that are super refreshing, but I would continue kind of putting on your clarifying, clearing out masks that kind of reduce that congestion. Valmont has a kind of a clay purifying mask that's really nice too. It's not super drying either, and it's kind of this gray clay texture. This one is really nice, and it's nice, but you're not going to get super cracked skin with it. It doesn't dry out too much, but that's also a good sort of acne clay option. And then as far as like what you don't want to use in terms of skincare, and this is just kind of me, like what I'm comfortable with during the summer and what my skin tends to like. And I don't have too many products. Like all of these products I use and I own, and some of this stuff works all year long, and some things I tend to want to use in the winter. I'm sure you can all relate to that. And there's a couple heavier creams that I have that I think are just too rich in the summertime and just suffocating feeling on my skin. I don't have a lot of heavy stuff in general. I actually don't have a lot of face oils either. But I do want to mention a couple things you might want to consider saving for colder, drier months, less humid months. This is from Dr. Jart. This is the Ceramidin cream, and this is like a really nice cream. I definitely recommend it. It is great for hydration. It's just a little bit thick, I think, for summer, but it's not a bad moisturizer. I just think you have to be careful about how much you apply. If you apply like a tiny bit, you'll probably be okay, but it's almost like it locks everything into your skin. It provides that sort of like barrier so nothing escapes. It's definitely thick and just not something I prefer to have in the summer. And I think if you are insistent on a thick cream in the summer, you might have some overhydration where you get clogging and bumps, little tiny bumps. You know, this does absorb, but if you're putting this on top of other layers of hydration, it probably can be a little bit much. And that leads me to sleeping masks and overnight mask, all that kind of stuff. I don't really feel the need for that in the summer. I know we have like air conditioning on, and that can kind of dry out the air and all that, and you may feel like really dry in the morning. I usually don't. So I feel like a sleeping mask, like a really thick overnight mask, is just overkill for me. So this is from Sulwahsoo. This is the Overnight Vitalizing Mask EX. I like this mask. It's very herbal. It's very strong. But it's a good value for how much you get. I mean, this line's very expensive, but this is actually not badly priced. But it's too thick for me, especially in the summer. I mean, I think it's, even in the winter, I don't grab for it that much, but it's just super strong scented. But I think it's also a little too thick. I think you want something lighter weight, that's hydrating, that lasts a long time, but isn't gonna suffocate. Another thing to think about is oils, skincare oils, and really, consider whether or not you really need them when it's really sweaty and warm. Again, I'm repeating myself over and over. It's just, to me, the idea of an extra layer of oil in the summer, while it can give a really pretty, kind of sexy, natural glow, I think it can lead to some clogging, especially if it's not super refined oil, really thin. I think it can be a little troublesome. I just got this serum. This is from, I just got this finishing serum from Biologique Recherche. This is Silk Plus, and it's a really nice sort of finishing serum, but it feels really like an oil. And they even tell you, if you are having deep exfoliation done, to not use this because it can cause acne. So, and I put it on my skin today, and it's a nice makeup base that's really smoothing. But I think if I know I'm gonna be sweating outside, I probably would skip this, just because I'm afraid what it would do to my skin. It's a little bit of a thicker serum, and it makes your skin feel really good. Oh, I just dripped. But it does have that feeling of it doesn't fully penetrate in your skin, it just kind of sits on top. And while that provides nice smoothing and hydrating benefits, and it's intended to lock everything in, so this is supposed to be the last step after your moisturizer, I think, by locking everything in for oily, acne-prone skin, that can be problematic. You do want some breathing room. So I would lay off the oils a little bit. I would really maybe only put them on at night, just a tiny amount if you really like them. Another thing I want to talk about is makeup during the summer, and this is a very debatable sort of idea, but I think lighter is better in the summer, and just less coverage, especially if you're going to be outside and sweating. It's just less makeup to drip off, and when it does kind of disappear, it's not as big of a difference, because if you have light coverage on and then you can see your skin through it, it's not a big deal. Whereas if you have heavy full coverage and then your skin starts to show through, that can look like a huge mess. So I just think the transition from makeup to sweaty skin peeking through, it's not as dramatic. So I suggest tinted moisturizers. They're just, not only do they provide SPF and moisturizer and kind of all in one step, but then they provide, a nice coverage, even out your tone, but you're not it's not detrimental to your face if they end up wearing off, which will likely happen if you're sweating. So I recommend sort of this lighter hand to makeup in the summer outdoors. I also recommend mineral makeup. I don't use this a lot, but this is the Bare Minerals matte formulation. It's been around forever. It has SPF 15, which isn't a whole lot, but I think the idea of this, to me, I have to put on a lot to get a lot of coverage, but just kind of a light layer to give your skin a little bit of even tone, I think is nice. And the fact that it's a powder can help out those with oily skin. So it doesn't have to be Bare Minerals, but any kind of mineral makeup. I just wouldn't go in with tons of layers of powder, because when the oil comes through, it can be, you know, hard to figure out, like, is this gonna look very good? You can certainly test it, like how much powder can my skin handle, and when the sweat comes through, how bad does it look, how good does it look. I would definitely, you know, experiment, but I think lighter is better. You can always like bring some touch-up papers, use a Kleenex to sort of blot your shine. I think it's just something you have to deal with. I also recommend like a light finishing powder just to kind of skim your face that isn't super thick or heavy. I have the Chantecaille Perfect Blur finishing powder. It just adds a little bit of matteness. Is it gonna last you all day? No, but it's not gonna be heavy either, which I think is the theme of what I'm trying to say. When it comes to makeup, as I said, thick is not gonna be your friend. I like these products for sure. I mean, all this stuff I like. I mean, it's all part of my collection. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't keep it anymore. But a foundation like this that isn't very watery and has, you know, a bit of something to it, it's very thick, it doesn't drip down your hand, I would avoid these kinds of foundations just because if I'm acne prone, I'm a little afraid that they're just gonna not let my skin breathe, especially when there's stuff coming out of it like sweat. I would avoid these. And then as far as primers go, I would do more of a liquid primer rather than a thick sort of pore filling primer, because this mixed in with sweat is not going to be your friend. There's just going to be too much going on. So I would avoid the thicker stuff. I know some of you don't understand and can't live without the full coverage. I don't know how you guys do it in the summer, to be honest. Lots of touching up, lots of powder maybe, I don't know. Maybe you just don't go outside. But I don't recommend that either. I think you should enjoy the sun. Just gotta protect yourself. So I think that's sort of it for my skincare tips for summer. A lot of it is like avoiding heavy creams and making sure you're keeping up with your hygiene and showering often. And you know, another thing to think about is like, what are you putting near your face? Shampoos, conditioners, hairsprays, you want to avoid your face. And then like sunglasses even, make sure you clean the frames regularly because you can get breakouts along your nose. I know face masks are a huge thing now and people are breaking out underneath their masks. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of good advice for that. I think just use your acne treatments on your chin area and kind of use them preventatively, like use it many times during the week, and maybe that will help sort of that mask breakout that goes on. I think a lot of it's just air or moist air kind of trapped under there and your skin can't breathe. But you know, as long as we're healthy, it's better than nothing, right? As long as we're healthy, I mean, a little acne isn't too bad. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any tips or things that you do differently in the summer with your skincare and makeup that have really changed the game for you, that really help. Please comment below. And thanks so much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.